In today's wrap-up, the IMF will increase financial support to Armenia by $175 million. Armenian citizens in Turkey and the US have been evacuated back to Armenia. Health Minister Arsen Torosyan says coronavirus cases are originating from different sources. And the Management Team of UCOM, Armenia's largest internet provider, has resigned. The International Monetary Fund has agreed with the Armenian government to increase the amount of financial support to Armenia by $175 million. This means a total of $280 million will be provided to Armenia. A statement by the IMF said that higher access to IMF financing will help the authorities contain short-term risks and will provide resources to meet urgent medical and socio-economic needs during the peak of the outbreak. The IMF also commended the Health Ministry's response to the outbreak, as well as the Armenian government's economic policies to help the business community suffering from the financial consequences of the outbreak. 35 Armenian students studying in the United States will be repatriated to Armenia. Armenian authorities had cooperated with Georgian authorities to organize a charter flight to evacuate Georgian and Armenian students. The Armenian embassy in Washington, D.C. organized travel for the students from 19 states to Chicago to be flown to Tbilisi and then on to Yerevan. Moreover, volunteers in Turkey working with the Armenian Foreign Ministry organized the evacuation of 102 Armenian citizens. 4 buses drove them to the Georgian border, with 2 buses organized by Turkish authorities. All the newly arrived citizens will be placed under a 2-week mandatory quarantine. ＳiviLNet will be live streaming the arrival of the students in Tbilisi. Watch it on our Facebook page in the late evening Yerevan time. Health Minister Arsen Torosyan has expressed concerns as although the number of new coronavirus cases is falling, new cases are coming from different and unidentified sources or clusters. Only 16 new coronavirus cases were confirmed in Armenia yesterday, bringing the total number of cases to 937. The low increases in the past few days may mean that the government could ease lockdown restrictions on Monday. Moreover, Torosyan reported that the total number of deaths has risen to 12. Meanwhile, 2 more cases have been confirmed in Nagorno-Karabakh and have been transported to Armenia for medical treatment. 3 villages in Karabakh have also been put under quarantine to contain the virus and will receive food supplies. Authorities in Stepanakert have also announced that tighter controls on crossings between Karabakh and Armenia will be in place. And finally, one of Armenia's free mobile operators and the biggest internet provider, UCOM, has internal problems with managers and shareholders. ＳiviLNet's anonymous source in the company said that the CEO of the company, Hayk Yesayan, has resigned from his position, as did hundreds of other employees. The feud started with the intention of majoritarian shareholders, the family members of Armenia's former finance minister and chief tax collector, Gagik Khachatryan, to replace the management. Earlier this year, UCOM had applied to the state regulator to buy out another mobile operator, Beeline Armenia, a subsidiary of Russian-owned VEON. ＳiviLNet's anonymous sources stated that shares of Gagik Khachatryan's family members in all their businesses, including UCOM, are under arrest since March 27th, which is connected to a criminal case related to Khachatryan. Khachatryan is accused of large-scale embezzlement and abuse of official powers in his tenure as head of State Revenue Committee between 2008 and 2014 and Minister of Finance between 2014 and 2016. He has been under arrest since August 2019. Emil Sanamyan, editor of the USC Institute of Armenian Studies Focus on Karabakh platform and expert on the South Caucasus, spoke to ＳiviLNet about the political developments in Nagorno-Karabakh. Sanamyan commented on the poor performance of presidential candidate in the March 31st Karabakh elections, Vitaly Balasanyan. The retired general and hero of Artsakh placed 3rd in the first round with around 14.7% of the vote. Balasanyan is renowned for his hostility to the post-revolutionary government of Armenia and has been an open advocate of former administrations under Armenia's 2nd and 3rd presidents Robert Kocharyan and Serge Sargsyan. Although some see Karabakh as a bastion of support for the old regime, Sanamyan argues that the poor performance of Balasanyan shows that the old regime is far less popular in Karabakh than many think, as demonstrated by the election results.